Really quickly, before the video starts, I just want to let you know that this recording turned out to be very long. Not surprising really, considering that there are going to be 18 people on the battlefield. I just don't have the time or energy to edit together a video that's over an hour long right now. So this is going to be more of a podcast type video, you could say. I think it's pretty fun to listen to in the background while you're doing something or while you're walking. There will be some visual references, but mostly it's just going to be the audio. Without any further ado, let's just jump right into it. Hello everyone, and welcome to another random video on the internet. And today we have a special guest, Loco.
What's going on, y'all? It's Loco. Proud to be on the channel. I'm gonna get Sasori on my channel soon, so be keen for that.
He's a cool guy, makes cool videos, does a lot of almost podcast-like recordings with Catchdog and Prodigy. So it's really fun to listen to, and yeah, be sure to check him out. So the two of us were talking, and there's a really interesting topic, which is Kara versus the Akatsuki. It's been around for a while now, people have been discussing this. But the thing is, the actual matchup is super uninteresting because Kara would just breathe the Akatsuki out of existence. So what we decided to do is have them with equal stats, and we kind of almost put them into tiers of power, where like what Kara members would scale to each Akatsuki member, and sort of have them like face off against each other in an equal stats matchup, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so like Sasori was saying, like the top three Akatsuki are gonna be going against the top three Kara members, and then there's like the middlemen of the Akatsuki versus like the middleman of Kara. I'm sure Sasori's gonna he's gonna throw up this on the screen or whatever. So you know what I'm talking about. Of course, the top three of the Akatsuki are Pain, Itachi, Obito, and then you have like the middle ones like Deidara, Kisame, Sasori. Fuck, I almost said Sasori. And then Kakuzu, right? So those are gonna be the middlemen of that. And then of course for Kara, say we got Jigen, Code, and Kashin Koji at the top. And then in the middle we have Delta, Boro, Victor, and Ao. And then at the bottom we have Hidan and Konan versus Deepa and Amado. Now, real quick, we got to clear this up. We had to put Ao in here. Technically, he's like an outer member of Kara, but like it would have only been like 8 members against the Akatsuki. So we just had to throw him in there just to even it out. You know, a fair match, fair fight. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
we recognize that a lot of people aren't really familiar with Kara and their abilities. So I guess we can just get into that right now.
Yeah, I think we can go from the bottom up. So starting with Amado, he's not really going to be too much of a threat. The only things he has at his disposal are like the little sound things he uses to subdue Shikadai. And then he also has like explosive collars he can put on people, so he's not really going to be much of a threat. He's not putting a collar on Obito or anything, you know?
Really, like the only thing he could do is just like kind of coach Jigen and Code from the sidelines and be like, "Oh yes, it looks like Itachi has cancer. Maybe you should aim for him first," and just like point out weaknesses and shit like that, and kind of just like I said, like coach him from the sidelines, give him some plays from the playbook. But there's really not much he's gonna be able to do in terms of like in strength, like unless you say that he could just like break Code's limits and just give Code like his full power. But we're gonna be restricting that because that's way too overpowered.
Yeah, that goes against the purpose of the video. Same with Jigen, like we are not gonna have like base Jigen be here and then go into Karma 3 and just decimate everybody. We'll just have like Karma 2 Jigen because he has some decent stamina and the same abilities as Karma 3 Jigen. So we're just gonna have him there. Then next up would be Deepa. So he's like pretty bland as well. He has body hardening, he can put on like carbon armor and stuff like that. His best jutsu, I guess, would be the cubes that he can like launch at people from a long range, so he might be able to like shred some of Konan's paper or something. But that's about it, like it can get blocked pretty easily. And he really doesn't have any hacks or intelligence feats, he's just sort of gonna be there as a supporting character, pretty much.
All right, so I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I did not watch the Boruto filler, so my main information is gonna be coming from Sasori and like YouTube clips that I just watched. So from what I can gather, to like simplify for everyone else who doesn't watch the Boruto filler, it's like I think Deepa is kind of like a mix of Konan and Kakuzu's abilities. Like he can harden his body, and he has like these little cubes that he can send out and hit people with. Like Konan, he has like that long range jutsu. So basically, that's the simplest way I can put it. But he doesn't have the best feet, so that's why he's kind of in the bottom tier of Kara.
Yeah. Like, some people can argue, like, the placements can be argued, but that's not really the point of the video. It's just for the sake of argument and for the sake of making the matchups as interesting as they can be. Then,
like, organizing it, like, we're just, like, we didn't want it to just be, like, equalizing all of their stats. Like, Hidan is the same level as Pain.
Yeah, Amado that would be weird.
Like, on this, Amado's, like, as strong as Jigen. Like, we kind of had to cut it up. We had to cut it up into tiers just so, it would be like more organized and like kind of not so random, So.
Yeah.
Moving on to Ao, like kind of he's like I said before, he's not an inner member of Kara, but we had to include him on here, and he's like that guy from the war arc who like has that Byakugan implanted in him, and he got like all these cybernetic implants. Motherfucker has a whole machine gun at his disposal, like a fucking minigun. Like there's.
Imagine being like a part 1 only like guy, like you've seen only part 1, and then you see Ao pull out a minigun in the world of Naruto. Like imagine the reaction.
Yeah, he really just has. He's like this cyborg dude, right? He has all these crazy scientific ninja tool stuff. He has like these like weird fire bombs and shit like that.
Yeah, like drones that can shoot lasers and stuff, like a chakra sword and pretty much just stuff like that. If you want to equip him with Boruto's like chakra absorbing gloves too, you could do that maybe, because he does at one point get like a chakra absorbing glove. Like I just remember that right now. So you could give him that if you want. It doesn't really change too much.
Yeah, it doesn't change too much. He's still like in the middle of the Kara organization. I don't think he's one of the heavy hitters or anything like that, so
yeah,
it's really not that big of a deal.
Then moving on to Victor, he's another pretty much anime only. Like he appears in the manga and just gets like destroyed by Kashin Koji in like one panel and that's it. But in the anime he does show that he has some very good regeneration and he has like all 5 chakra natures. He's almost like a good matchup for Kakuzu, like Loco pointed out to me before the recording. Like they're both sort of like these guys that are really hard to kill and they both have like all 5 chakra natures. They could probably clash with each other pretty well.
Yeah. Once again, another like anime only character. Like you said, he appeared in the manga, but all I know about him is that he just got fucked by Kashin Koji in like a couple panels. So after researching a little bit, I can see that he has like all 5 chakra natures. He has like these pretty cool techniques and stuff like that. And he has mild regeneration too, right?
Yeah, he has like really good regeneration. He can like get his arms torn off or blown off, and he can just regen from that.
He might be slapping Kakuzu. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So next up would be Boro, and this is honestly like the biggest off-guard potential the Kara has, because he just has like that virus that he can release, and it is cybernetic. Like it's like not cybernetic. It is like technology-based, so it can't be absorbed, and it can't be seen either. For the most part, like maybe if Obito and Itachi look at it with a Sharingan, they could see it because Sarada was able to, kind of. But Boro could just off-guard most Akatsuki. Like, maybe Pain is immune or something because they're just corpses. But, like, if anybody else just walks up to Boro before Itachi and Obito can figure out his ability, they might actually be screwed.
Honestly, bro. He also has, like, this regeneration ability as well. He has, like, lava release, water release, fire release. Like, he's actually pretty cracked. Especially when he comes out as, like, that fucking tentacle monster thing.
Yeah, that's super weird. I don't know why they invented that. Like, what were they thinking?
Do you know how to explain like the heart shit, like where he can move his like core around? Like I don't really know how to. I don't know how to explain that properly.
Yeah, I can say like it's basically a core inside of him that he can move around inside of his body, and as long as that core is intact, he can regenerate from it. So like if he gets his head blown off, but his core was like in his stomach or whatever, he can just regen. But he does have to weave a hand sign beforehand. So if he is unable to weave any hand signs before being destroyed, then he won't be able to regen. But if the core is destroyed, then he'll turn into that like stupid tentacle monster. And just go on a rampage. He's pretty much brainless at that point, but he gets like stronger physically. So I guess he could maybe like enter like the top tier in terms of physically, like how powerful he is, but he's just trash in terms of like speed and in terms of intelligence and stuff like that.
Yeah, honestly. I guess moving on to Delta, like Delta, this is where we start getting into like the crack characters, like that we really have to dumb down to the Akatsuki level, because she's able to swap hands with like adult Sage of Six or like Six Pass Sage mode Naruto, right? And granted, she like lost, but she has some like really good feats off of that. She's like this completely android. She's like an android, right? She's not really even human, right? So a lot of the Akatsuki's techniques wouldn't really work on her. She also has like these laser beams, which you can probably count to like light speed, but I don't know if Satori's trying to. I don't know if he's trying to go down that avenue. I don't know if the Akatsuki's all just fit get one shot.
Yeah, we'll just say like her beam scaled to her own speed or something, because Naruto could dodge her fist and he could dodge her beams. So it's just like, let's say they scale to her own speed and she scales to the Akatsuki or something, because we don't want them to get like speed blitzed or anything.
Yeah, so I don't know if like fucking Genjutsu would work on Delta, because she's like an android, so
Yeah.
she doesn't really.
But
She doesn't really have like a chakra network or a brain to be affected by that shit. So
on the one hand, yeah, but on the other hand, she can get affected by like Ada's ability, which is weird because it's definitely above like a normal Genjutsu or a Tsukuyomi in terms of like potency and stuff, but she can still get her mind messed up. So Tsukuyomi might still work because it like the Mangekyo Genjutsu works by injecting your chakra into the other person's brain. So it's like it technically would work,
debatable.
maybe. Like it's weird.
It's debatable. I feel like Ada's ability was kind of like an ass pull. It's like it's literally called omnipotence, right?
Yeah.
So like it's like this weird Shinjutsu technique that allows Data to like manipulate or fuck Data allows Ada to manipulate reality. So like I don't know. It's like is Tsukuyomi like on that level? Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like
it's weird. I don't think it is, but you know, maybe this
Yeah,
nerfed down Delta or something. I don't know.
it's up for y'all to decide. But
Yeah.
moving on to like Kashin Koji, I guess he's like literally Jiraiya on steroids. I think we're just gonna have to like plop him in the fight with Sage Mode already active, just so it's kind of fair, because he would get like a massive buff off of Sage Mode, and then it wouldn't be equal stats anymore.
Yeah.
So he has all of Jiraiya's techniques plus more. He has like the hair manipulation, the fire bombs. He's just as smart, maybe smarter than Jiraiya. Like he has all of these crack techniques. I feel like he'd be a good matchup for Itachi, honestly.
Yeah, he could definitely swap hands with Itachi. He has the intelligence to know to not look Itachi in the eyes. He has Sage Mode, so he could likely fight with his eyes closed. He could sense chakra and stuff, so he could make it like dodge the Totsuka Blade or whatever. And like you said, he's just like an amped up version of Jiraiya. He has oil, which could neg Konan. He has like fire bombs, which could also burn a lot of the Akatsuki members. So he's just a very support type character, but he can also go to the front lines and like box people up too, because he does have Sage Mode, which is like huge durability, huge strength, and stuff like that.
He also has like frog summonings that could possibly counter
The animal path.
The animal path summonings as well of Pain's animal path. So,
yeah,
like, really,
like the boil
really
toad or something. Like
Kashin Koji is just good like all around, to be honest. Like he's just a really rounded out fighter.
yeah. And then moving on to Code, which would be the second to last strongest member, or like the second to last in the top tier. He has the claw marks, which if he can get the claw marks on anybody in the Akatsuki, he could then just like send his hand into their shoulder or whatever, wherever the claw is, and then just pierce them there. So it's like really, if he gets a claw on anybody, it's kind of GG, because he can just appear on them and then just snap their heads off or whatever. He's also just pretty fast, pretty strong, but you know, that doesn't really matter in this department. He's pretty stupid, honestly.
Yeah.
He's like kind of actually dumb. Really, the claw marks are going to be his main benefits.
He can also absorb jutsus and chakra as well, so that's definitely a benefit. If you were to put him up against someone like Itachi or Kakuzu, he could definitely be able to absorb all of their techniques, like probably Itachi Susanoo, Amaterasu, all of Kakuzu's jutsus as well. So Code is, like you said, he's not the smartest, but he has some pretty hacked out techniques. He has like these teleportation techniques that could, like, if he lands one on Obito, which is debatable, like if he's able to get a claw mark on Obito, like if Obito's like unsuspecting, then like Obito is just gonna kind of be useless throughout the entire fight because as soon as he becomes like physical, like he's able to be touched again, like Code's just gonna try to like cut his throat or some shit like that. So it's really like, yeah, Code might actually be like a pretty big problem if he's given the chance to mark the higher members of the Akatsuki, like Itachi, Obito, the Diva Path of Pain. Like Code could actually like get a pretty good kill off. And,
yeah, he's gonna be very dangerous in terms of like who he can off guard get, like stuff like that.
And now here's what you all been waiting for: the man himself, Jigen, the top tier of Kara, the leader.
Yeah.
You know, big boy Jigen. We're gonna be plopping him in with version 2 of his karma seal, right? So he's gonna have that horn thing and everything like that. So Jigen can basically like shrink objects and then like resize them, I guess. So he has like these rods that can pretty much impale like literally anyone in the Akatsuki. Like if he had been going like all out against Naruto and Sasuke, he probably just could have like stabbed them in the head.
Yeah, that's
like,
the thing.
Like,
because, like, if he was actually going for the kill, like, we have to restrict him here. Because if he went for the kill against Naruto and Sasuke, he would have just shoved a rod into their heads right away, and that's it. There's nothing they can do. As soon as they appeared, like, he could have just killed them instantly. But he didn't in character because he wanted to, like, test them, play around with them, you know, like, this is you going at full strength, you know, I like that,
yeah.
Show me what you got. So we kind of have to do that here too. Like he wants to see like Pain Itachi and all these people, like the legendary Akatsuki, which hunts tailed beasts. You know, he wants to see what they can do. So he's just gonna be like also kind of toying around like he did with Naruto and Sasuke, because otherwise, like he just one shots everybody with the rods. Like
honestly,
before they figure out his ability or anything. So.
Jigen can also like shrink himself down to like a small size, and whenever he's like this, he can't be tracked with his by like Sharingan. Like Sasuke had trouble like seeing him with his Rene Sharingan, right? Like his Rinnegan with the 9 Tomoe and shit like that. So I don't think Itachi and Obito with their base Mangekyo Sharingan are gonna be able to see that shit. Like he might just like be out of sight as soon as he shrinks down, just like untrackable.
Yeah, it's definitely possible, and like you said, he's gonna be like the big carrier of the group. Like he's gonna be the big threat, the big leader, the big boy, you know.
Also, Jigen can't like turn into Ishiki at any point. Like that's just really overpowered.
Yeah.
He would stomp the Akatsuki. The power boost is just way too much. Like it's not really gonna be a threat at all.
Yeah, we're also gonna say if he dies, he dies. Like that's it.
Yeah. Jigen can also like absorb techniques as well, just like Code and just like Delta. So do with that what you will.
Could he absorb like Shinra Tensei or something? Like,
oh my god, that's always.
If he just pointed if he just pointed a hand in the direction of where the Shinra Tensei was coming from, like, could he absorb it? Like, this is the same deal like with Obito versus Pain. Like, could Obito phase through Shinra Tensei, like gravity and stuff? You know, it's weird.
Yeah. I guess we can move on to the Akatsuki now, like you said. Pretty much everybody already knows like what the Akatsuki can do, so we're not going to be taking too long here.
We can probably go into the Akatsuki a little bit because everybody already knows what they can do, but we can just say how they counter the Kara or how they don't counter the Kara organization.
Obviously, Hidan has his little ritual thing, but he's definitely like the bottom tier, so he's not going to be doing like too much against them unless they could somehow like pass Hidan some of the blood of like Code, Kashin Koji, or it may not work on Jigen because he's technically like a corpse. So,
yeah, I mean, like does he have blood? Because I don't think we ever see him bleed.
I think we see Ishiki bleed because I don't think we've seen Jigen bleed though. I don't know. It's up to interpretation.
Yep. And the ritual also wouldn't work on Delta because she's an android. She does not have blood most likely. I don't think we see her bleed at all too. Then Boro and Victor would be able to regen through it. They just have crazy regeneration. There's no way that Hidan stabbing out his heart would do anything to them. But Ao, Amado, Code, Kashin Koji, Deepa, like those guys would be effective if they can like get their blood stolen. But Deepa can harden his skin, so it's not likely that Hidan can pierce him. Kashin Koji's and Code are just not getting touched by Hidan, even in these nerf states, unless like you said, like if Obito just scratches Kashin Koji and gives some of his blood to Hidan, like maybe that could work.
Yeah, that's always a possibility, but Hidan's going to be dealing with Deepa and Amado, I guess. So he might not be able to like have the time to be able to get the blood and do the whole ritual. I don't think any car member would like let him do the ritual just to see if they would be able to tank it. They probably just like rush him immediately. Like,
yeah, they're not that dumb. Even Delta, like she's trigger happy. She just go right at him.
Yeah, she'd probably just like cut his head off or something like that. I don't know, but we can get all this. We can talk about all this in the versus part.
Yeah,
Konan, like we said, she might be a pretty big threat because she just has like such a wide range of attacks. Like she's like this long range fighter. She has all of these paper bombs. We're not going to give her prep time because that's really overpowered. But I don't know. I feel like she just wouldn't really stack up. I'm not sure about that, but
yeah, her paper, she's resistant to like cutting attacks, like we see in like a canon scene from a video game cutscene, because like that's considered to be canon, I believe. There's like a statement for that, and she does like turn into paper as soon as she's cut, so she's like immune to being cut. But Deepa's cubes could probably shred her paper. Victor's jutsu could burn her. Lava style could burn her. The lasers could kill her. Kashin Koji has oil, which is like legitimately the way Jiraiya negged her in the original fight, when they fought. So Konan's paper bombs could be threatening, but a lot of the Kara members could either regen from it or just tank it, even in this scenario where they're all nerfed. So
yeah,
I think we can move on. So the next one up would be Kakuzu. So like we said already, he's a good matchup for Victor because they're both hard to kill, they both have like massive elemental jutsu and stuff like that. He also has diamond hardening, so he could probably match up well against like Deepa or Ao. He could tank through their attacks and like injure them with his punches. But he could just get nagged by like Delta's lasers and like other jutsu and like Ishiki shoving a rod into him and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was about to say that. His hearts kind of get negged because they don't really have the same. They don't have that diamond hardening, but Kakuzu himself might be able to last pretty long. With that, unless you say that like fucking Delta's lasers would just like burn through it or something like that. But
yeah,
it's really up to y'all. I think Kakuzu, despite being like in the lower half of the Akatsuki, he should be able to last pretty long, surprisingly enough.
Yeah, he's built for like long-term combat. He's built to last long. He has a lot of stamina. He's built for the long run.
Yeah, moving on to Sasori. Really, he has like two good things at his disposal. He has like the 100 puppet shit, and he has his poison. Now, in an equal stats fight, the 100 puppets might actually be pretty useful, unless you think that motherfuckers like Delta and Kashin Koji would just destroy all of them immediately with like Delta's lasers, Kashin Koji's wide range attacks. Maybe Al pulls out his fucking machine gun and starts just going Rambo on them.
Yeah, imagine like those scenes like in zombie movies where people just pull out like machine guns and just gun down like hundreds of zombies. Like that might be the case here.
Like all the puppets just get like, nah, that's wild. That actually might. It's crazy because this is the state of the series right now.
Yeah.
Machine against puppets. Yeah. Also, his poison wouldn't work on like half of the car members. Like Delta is an android, like we said before. It might not work on Boro because he has like regeneration. I don't know if that'd be able to like neg poison, but like what do you think? Would the poison work on car members?
I think it works on the ones that are like fully human. So like Amado, Deepa, Al, like they're all cybernetically enhanced, but they're not like actually like androids or cyborgs. They just have like parts of robotics on them. So they would get negged. Victor probably too. But then you get to the weird stuff. Like Kashin Koji is like a clone, like a technological clone. Delta's like an android. That's definitely not working on her. Then Jigen is a corpse. He might not have blood, like we said. Code could probably get affected by it. I think Boro is like the trickiest because he's like a cyborg, but he's not like a full-on android. Like, it's weird with him. I think it's up to interpretation. Like, he also has antibodies for his own virus poison, but that's like different from Sasori, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's really strange to say. I feel like Sasori's poison, like in any versus match, like including the Akatsuki, like it'll probably be a threat to anyone it comes across.
Yeah, I would agree.
Same thing with Deidara, to be honest. Same thing with Deidara and his C4. Like those like mini particle shits are actually kind of wild. It's kind of the same as Sasori's. It might just fuck up like half of the Kara organization, but this time it would also fuck up the Akatsuki as well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Deidara might actually be like more harm than good because C0, C4, and like C3 would probably just nuke the entire fucking area.
Yeah,
and
like the biggest
takes out.
Yeah, the biggest thing for the Akatsuki would be if Obito. We can see in the Kage-sama that Obito can touch people and make them phase through things as well. Because like when the Raikage charges at him and Sasuke, he makes the Raikage phase through Sasuke as well. So like if all the Akatsuki just like stand in a circle and hold hands while Deidara just charges a C0 or something, maybe they could phase through it.
That's wild, dude. Also, it's debatable of whether or not like Deidara's explosives could be absorbed or just shrunk by. I feel like they could be like shrunk by Jigen, like.
Yeah, if he touches the bombs.
Probably not like. Maybe C4 could be shrunk because like it turns into the big like clone of Deidara and then it explodes. Like if Jigen shrinks it before it explodes, I don't think it would be that big of a threat. And also like the explosions definitely are like they're like chakra clay, I think. So maybe they can be like absorbed. The explosion could be like absorbed by Code, by Delta, by Jigen, like all the people with absorption abilities. It's kind of wild, to be honest.
Yeah, it's weird because technically isn't like Deidara's jutsu just like a mixture of lightning and earth style or something like that? So it should be chakra based. And like I'm just imagining like Deidara just fires off a C0 and then Jigen, Code, Awa, and Delta just all line up in a line and start absorbing it. Like that could be like
died for nothing. He died for nothing.
Yeah.
No, that's actually wild. Like
a lot of the Kara members might also be immune to Deidara's C4 explosions because Delta is a complete android. She might not need to breathe. Jigen is like a corpse. He might not need to breathe. Kashin Koji has Sage Mode, so technically he should be able to like sense the bombs coming. Then we also have Boro, who's like technically like his life resides in his core. So like if he himself breathes in and then like gets exploded, and the core is gonna remain. It's a technological thing, so it's just gonna like regen his body just from that core.
That's wild. Like I don't know if Deidara is going to be that useful, right? Because he has these wide range of attacks that could probably hurt some of the Akatsuki members as well.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't be able to use C4 or C0 without taking out some Akatsuki members as well. And some of his like normal C1 and C2 might just get absorbed or shrunken down. Like really, Deidara isn't that useful, I don't think, in this type of fight.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is maybe like Obito could Kamui everybody into the Kamui dimension before Deidara explodes himself, but at that point Jigen's just gonna walk up to Deidara while he's all alone and just kill him on the battlefield, so it's not gonna result in anything.
I guess we can move on to your favorite character, Kisame.
Yes, sir! Kisame, my boy, my man, my bride.
What the fuck? Samehada is like, I don't know if it poses that much of a threat because what is it gonna do?
like it absorbs chakra, and Kara is a lot of them are technology based fighters. So like Samehada is definitely not absorbing the rods from Jigen. It's not absorbing the claw marks either. It could absorb a lot of Kashin Koji's jutsu. The laser beams might be just completely technological from Delta because her eyes are like scientific ninja tools. So it might just like go through the Samehada, like the blade. Like if Kisame tries to block them with Samehada, it might just pierce it. I think his best utility here would be to like drain the members that can regenerate, like drain their chakra and wear them down, like Victor and Boro. Like I think that's his biggest benefit. He could like immobilize them maybe if he drains enough of their chakra.
Yeah, we were talking before, and like the water bubble thing could probably get shrunken down by Jigen as well.
Yeah, or
like,
absorbed by like the 4 members that can absorb chakra.
is the water like chakra though? Like, it might not. Could it be? I don't know.
I
That's
think
that's
it
that's
could,
too much. It's
because like
making my head hurt. God.
yeah, it's so weird. Because like technically, like you see people fire off like fireball jutsus at Kara members and they can absorb it, and Kisame just fires water out of his mouth for that water bubble. So like technically it should be like the same deal there. Like both shoot out an element and then they can both get absorbed. Which, you know, I hate to say this because Kisame is like my guy, but still, like, I think the biggest benefit from Kisame is that he can like go into his shark form and either drown some people if Jigen is like preoccupied or something, and he can also like drain chakra from people. I think that's like the biggest benefits that he brings to the table.
Yeah, Kisame might either be like kind of useless or like really fucking useful. It kind of just depends on how potent you think his attacks will be. Like the water shark bomb, do you think it could absorb like the lasers? You know, be able to absorb all of Kashin Koji's techniques. It's like really there's so many like possibilities with Kisame. It's kind of hard to talk about without like getting into the fight as a whole.
Yeah. I would say maybe another thing, just like an interesting interaction. You know, like Jigen in the anime starts to charge up like a big energy attack, seemingly, like Dragon Ball Z. So like if he fires that and Kisame like fires the shark bomb, and it like eats up that huge laser, like that huge ball of energy that Jigen threw, and then just hits Jigen, like maybe that could actually be really useful.
It might be. I forgot that Jigen could just like nuke the battlefield at any point.
Yeah, so like actually like Kisame might low-key be like the MVP if that happens.
Bro, like I think it was implied that Jigen was just gonna like destroy all of Konoha with like one finger. So,
yeah.
it's really wild, dude.
Yeah, like Dragon Ball Z.
Moving on to Obito, I guess. Obito is always so fucking tricky to talk about, I swear.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna be like Orange Mask Obito, so he's not gonna have the Renegon, he's not gonna have the Ghetto Mazo, none of that shit. So really his best thing is fucking Kamui and maybe Izanagi if he dies. If the car members manage to get a hit off on him. I don't know, Obito is just so strange to talk about because it depends on who he's going up against. He'd be able to phase through like most of Kashin Koji's and Delta's attacks, but Jigen and Code just might like fucking blitz him. If Code managed to get the claw mark off, if Jigen just impales him in the head like immediately, like it's really hard to talk about. Like fucking Obito's so weird.
Yeah, I think like there's not gonna be like blitzing going on, but if he gets off guarded by like a rock to the face, that might be it. And I think the biggest thing in Obito's favor is that Kamui is active like pretty much all the time. There's actually a statement for it that Kamui is like passive. He has to actively turn it off to attack people. So if he just stands like in the middle of the battlefield with his Mangekyo out, or with his base Sharingan too, because he can apparently just phase even if he doesn't have his Mangekyo active, which is weird, but okay.
Yeah.
So he couldn't be off guarded then, but if he goes to attack and he gets hit during the attack, then like Minato did him. So that would be where he falls.
But I guess we can move on to Itachi now. Itachi would be like sick, of course, where like in his normal form. Amaterasu once again could be most likely absorbed by literally everyone else on the other team. Tsukuyomi might actually be a threat because not a lot of characters in Boruto have Genjutsu resistance.
Yeah, I think the biggest one would be Ishiki, because like Sasuke never tries Genjutsu to Onotsuki, so like Jigen might just be immune. But most others could probably get hit with like the Tsukuyomi or like the ephemeral Genjutsu, like the finger one, or just any Genjutsu really. I think Kashin Koji would be like the only one sort of knowledgeable enough and aware enough to realize that he's in a Genjutsu maybe.
Amado as well.
Oh
Like,
yeah, Amado
just
too.
might know. Like he just might know immediately that he's in a genjutsu. Like he might know like exactly how to counter Itachi's ephemeral genjutsu at least. But
Yeah,
Tsukuyomi may not work on people like Jigen because he has like that weird what is it called, the Sukuna Hikona eye, like
yeah, that's true.
that might just like tank Tsukuyomi because I don't know, it's like a
Yeah,
weird Otsutsuki eye that might just
yeah,
be able to see through all illusions and shit like that. So it kind of depends on what you think. It's up to interpretation. The
yeah,
Susanoo is just getting fucked immediately. Like it's getting absorbed or it's
yeah,
getting shrugged. Like the
yeah. It's
Tosca blade
sad.
is the Tosca blade is gone. The Yatamir is gone. And it's like the Susanoo is going to be more harm than good because it means Itachi's just going to be more out of stamina and he's just going to go more blind. So his best bet is not even pulling that shit out to begin with.
Yeah. I think like the ultimate strategy for Itachi would be to just have him use Tsukuyomi on people and then have like Pain or Kisame like replenish his chakra reserves. Like, you know, we know Samehada can like take chakra from people and give it to other people. So like if Kisame's
Yeah.
just like, yo Itachi, take half my chakra right now and like Tsukuyomi all of them, you know, maybe that could work.
Bro, it actually might work, but I don't know if Itachi's going to be able to like do it that many times without going fucking blind. But like he
Yeah.
might be able to pop off two of them real quick.
Uh,
But it just depends on what you think.
I just thought of something. What if Obito and Itachi like switched eyeballs? Like, would that like make Itachi have EMS?
I think it has to be like a close relative.
Yeah, it
But
could
that's
be.
still something crazy to think about. Like Itachi has fucking Kamui or some shit like
Yo,
that.
Obito with the Totsuka blade.
Oh my god, that's so wild. That's some fan fiction shit.
Yeah,
I guess we can move on to Big Boy Pain right now. The leader of the Akatsuki. I feel like a really good fight would be like Pain versus Jigen, but like Jigen just has better like rods than Pain does. Like Pain has those chakra rods, but Jigen's rods are just gonna like pierce through all of Pain's shit except for maybe like the Diva Path that can like block them or some shit. It's really hard to say. Like, would Pain just like overpower him with Shinra Tensei and Shibaku Tensei? It's just weird.
Yeah, I think the best strategy would be to have like Itachi observe, or Itachi or Obito observe Jigen as he fights Pain, because Pain has a lot of bodies that can like take hits, and he can also heal himself with the Naraka Path. So like if Pain acts sort of as like a punching bag for the Kara members and especially Jigen, like Obito and Itachi or Kakuzu as well, he's like intelligent. You know, maybe those guys could like figure out Jigen's ability while they watch, because that's what Sasuke and Naruto did. Naruto just sent a bunch of clones at Jigen and Sasuke was observing them with his Sharingan and Rinne Sharingan, and he just like eventually figured out what Jigen's ability was. So, you know, he had the Rinne Sharingan, but if this is like a scaled down Jigen, then, you know, maybe you could say Itachi or Obito would be able to eventually track him down too.
Yeah, it's really hard to say, but like we were saying, do you think Shinra Tensei could be like absorbed?
Ah, no. That's so weird. I think like Shinra Tensei it's possible because like it's a physical force, but it's like chakra based. But like if Bancho Tenin gets pulled out or Shinra Tensei, then I don't know, like I don't think they can just absorb straight up gravity, because that's what it is. It's just straight up gravitational pulls and stuff. And I don't know how they would even like point a hand at like a force that's just like gravity based. Like how would Delta point her eyes at like a Bancho Tenin? Like what? It's
That's
weird.
so wild. That is so wild. I don't even know. Like
Yeah.
it's so crazy to think about. I don't know if Pain's gonna be doing that much in an equal stats fight though, because he has hacks, but a lot of them are like brute force, like the Ashura path and the Diva path are the strongest ones, and they just kind of rely on the heavy hitting. So I don't know. It's like we said, it's up to interpretation.
Yeah. But now we can actually get to the actual battle, and this is gonna be like super complicated to talk about. There's like so many possibilities. Who goes up against who, and who like encounters who first? Like, is Jigen just gonna go after Itachi, or is he gonna go after Pain or Obito? You know, like it's so difficult to talk about. So I think we can just talk about like general strategies, which a lot of that we already discussed. But I just think like we can discuss a lot of the teamwork that could go into this, and we can also discuss the individual tiers against each other, like the 3v3s and 4-on-4s and 2v2s. Straight away for the Akatsuki, I want to say that they would have actually like a huge numerical advantage, because Kakuzu has like 5 hearts, so he's like already 5 combatants. Sasori can just pull out 100 puppets, and Pain is 6 bodies at once, so they would have a lot of numbers on their side, and Pain can also summon animals. So the Kara organization would be basically facing like a mini army of people, of like combatants at least.
Yeah, they definitely have like a small numbers advantage, like maybe even like 2-1 if you really think about it. But
like if you count the puppets, like then I think it's like 100 to 1, but
well, I wasn't really counting the puppets.
Yeah.
But like the puppets might they just might make all the difference. But once again, like there's just a lot of people that aren't really going to be doing much. Like I don't think Hidan is going to be doing much. I don't think Amado is going to be doing much. Like it's just like it's like, what are they going to be doing? They're just going to be like either twiddling their thumbs or just going to be fucking dying, busy dying.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I think we can just talk about like the tiers and how they match up against each other, like, and then just go through like who wins most of the time. Like we can just say that.
The bottom tier, for the bottom tier, that being Hidan and Konan versus Deepa and Amado. Like I said, Amado's probably not going to be doing much. So is Deepa like soloing the both of them? Like he kind of has like this hardening shit, so Konan's paper bombs might not even hurt him. Hidan might not even be able to draw blood in the first place. So once again, I don't really know how strong Deepa is. I didn't watch the fucking filler, but I know his abilities, and if you think that he can just like one-shot Hidan with those little carbon cube things, and then he could like somehow be able to match Konan in a one-on-one, then the Kara might take the bottom tier. It's really not that big of a deal either way, but Kara might just be able to edge them out, especially if Amado's like coaching Deepa from the sidelines.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like Deepa's cubes, like when he fires them, he has like a limit to how much he can fire, but those cubes, when they fly at people, they can like tear apart like the iron sand of Shinki, so they could probably tear up Hidan's skin and like Konan's paper. So I think like the best bet would be to like, I don't know, like Hidan like occupies Deepa for a few seconds so Konan can just bomb Amado out of existence. And then both of them like team up against Deepa, and maybe they could like wear him down like eventually. Like I think it doesn't really matter too much, but I am leaning toward Hidan and Konan taking it. Because like Konan could just spam paper bombs and stuff, and Hidan can like put pressure on him constantly with his scythe. I think they could pull it off, but it's a close fight.
Yeah, technically it's a 2-1 because Amado's not going to be doing much, but maybe if Amado like if he peeps Hidan's like weird ritual thing, like Hidan being like a fucking loudmouth, maybe Amado's like, hey, fucking Deepa, maybe don't get cut by this dude, maybe don't let him get your blood. So like it kind of depends. Same thing with Konan. Maybe he's like, oh, she's literally all paper, you won't be able to cut her, maybe you need to call Kashin Koji for help. But if it's strictly a 2v2, the Akatsuki is kind of leaning here. They have the advantage.
I would say so. So then we're getting into likely the most complicated one out of the bunch, which is like the 4v4.
Yeah, it's Kisame, Deidara, Sasori, and Kakuzu versus Delta, Boro, Victor, and Ao. And it's really crazy because we have some pretty good matchups here. There's Victor versus Kakuzu. They both have kind of the same abilities. Ao could just, like we said before, pull out the machine gun on all the fucking puppets and shit like that. He might just solo the puppet army.
Unironically,
Boro might be a good match for someone like Deidara or fucking Kisame, right? And Delta could just be going around blowing shit up with the lasers and all kinds of weird shit like that. So it's really hard to say. Like Kisame has this water bubble thing, of course. If you're not including Jigen in this little 4v4, then obviously Kara wouldn't be able to shrink down that water bubble. But it's arguable of whether or not like they could just fucking absorb it like Delta and Ao might just be able to absorb the entire fucking water bubble. I don't know. Like it depends, of course. Deidara might be more harm than good in this little fight. It's such a like his explosives are just gonna fucking nuke the entire battlefield and maybe take out Sasori's puppet army, maybe take out a couple of Kakuzu's hearts. So I don't know if Data is going to be very useful in this fight at all. Like it's just kind of hard to say.
Yeah. I think, like you said, the matchups are going to be Ao versus Sasori and Kakuzu versus Victor, but then the other two, it really depends on who goes up against Boro, because if Kisame goes up against him, he's just going to get poisoned, but if Deidara goes up against him, he's going to be in the sky, he's going to be far away from Boro, he's not going to get poisoned, and he might just, bomb him from above. And eventually, he could probably figure out the... he could definitely figure out that Boro has regeneration, but could he figure out the core or not? I think he could probably just blow it up by accident, honestly.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good case. Maybe he would just be able to, nuke fucking Boro and the core just gets destroyed by accident. But wouldn't he turn into, the tentacle monster thing, or would he just die?
He would, it depends on the explosion. If the explosion just wipes out his whole body and the core, then he's not going to go back from that. But if the core is gone, but then his, head is still intact or something, then he would go into, the tentacle monster form. And at that point, a bunch of the Akatsuki might just, team up on him. Or, Kisame could, walk up to him and just absorb his chakra for a while until he goes limp and then, dies from chakra absorption or something. Delta's lasers would be threatening to all of them. She could definitely pierce through Samehada, or, the hardening probably could also be pierced through.
I think especially if she goes after Deidara, if she just, cuts up Deidara's, little bird thing with her lasers and he just, falls to his death, or, maybe if Delta tries to engage him in taijutsu, I don't think Deidara is, that physically strong, so he might just get fucked immediately if it's a hand-to-hand combat thing. If they don't let him fly up and just start fucking nuking them from above, Deidara is not going to be very helpful in this fight, because we've never really seen him in a hand-to-hand fight.
Yeah, I think Delta matches up well against Deidara because she can also fly. She has jet propulsions in her boots or something like that. So she can fly. She could probably save Boro if it came down to it, maybe.
So how are you feeling about Victor versus Kakuzu?
I feel like Kakuzu has enough to take it here because, Victor's jutsu would get nagged by the hardening most of the time, and the lightning could get countered by, the wind mask or the lightning mask. And if it's equal stats, their jutsu would be, equal strength. So Kakuzu has, 2 natures that could counter the lightning style. That is, the only thing that can harm him with the hardening. So I do think he wins overall, but I think the fight would take quite a while because they're both very long-lasting fighters.
I think so too, and of course, Victor has regeneration as well, so he might just be able to come back from all of Kakuzu's taxing techniques. So it like you said, the fight would take a while. I don't think it would end anytime soon. While the others are fighting, they'll definitely be still fighting after a while.
Yeah.
Now, Ao versus Sasori is...
Yes, myself.
Bro, fucking
technically I do...
The whole verse.
Yeah, technically I do have an Akatsuki robe. My avatar is Ellen in Akatsuki robe, so technically I'm part of the Akatsuki.
We could have let Sasori hop in this fight. He might just solo all of Boruto. But yeah, Ao versus Sasori might be crazy. It just depends. He would be weak to his poison, but he also would probably kind of just blow up all of his puppets. So it's kind of hard to say. This round is, like you said at the very start of this round, it's very complicated. I don't think Deidara would be much use. Victor would probably lose to Kakuzu over time. Ao is weak to the Sasori's poison, but he would probably be able to destroy most of his puppets. Really, Delta is the only one that's immune to all of their attacks, pretty much.
Yeah, I would say Delta is gonna be carrying this team because Deidara has counters to Boro. Kisame can counter either Victor or Boro as well if Boro is doesn't have his virus anymore. If he goes into the tentacle mode. If not, then Kisame can get nagged by the poison. I do think Sasori does stand a good chance against Ao because he does have the third Kazekage, which is the iron sand and stuff. So that's a good shield. He also has like those flamethrowers, and we see those melt kunai. So like, could they melt the shots from the minigun? It's weird too.
Oh my god.
I do think Sasori is like a lot more versatile, but also like Awa has like all those drones that are like just flying across the battlefield shooting lasers at Sasori. So like, could he handle like that multi-directional assault? Like, an army battle between like the drones and the puppets, like 100 puppets versus like 10 drones or something, could be cool to see.
And if Boro's core doesn't get destroyed like right away, like he could be like throwing out some jutsu pretty hard, like the lava style jutsus and the water style and all that stuff. He might be some trouble if he doesn't get taken out immediately. So this one is pretty hard to talk about. I'm kind of leaning towards Kara simply because Delta is on the team and she just has all of these crazy cracked abilities that, like, I don't know, her lasers might be light speed. I don't know, but they might just cut through Deidara's bombs. She could probably absorb the bombs, maybe. They might just destroy Kakuzu's hearts instantly, but like in an actual fight when it's not just 1v1 and one character just doesn't solo, like it's an actual full-on fight. I don't know, I might be leaning towards the Akatsuki here just because they kind of do better against people like Victor and Ao. So I don't know, it's kind of what do you think, bro?
I think it mostly depends on who goes up against who here, because like if Boro goes up against anybody except Deidara and Sasori, then he's just gonna poison them and that's gonna be it for Kakuzu and Kisame. But if he goes up against those like long-range fighters and like the puppet body and stuff, then I think he loses pretty quickly to them, because they just might destroy his core by accident, like legitimately. And I think Awa and Victor are mostly going to be there to stop the Akatsuki from just jumping Delta all at the same time. Like, they're going to be stalling. Yeah. And I think Delta can just pick them off one by one, probably, because she does have counters to them. I think if they all, like, quickly destroy, like, everybody else, while, like, I don't know, Kisame or Kakuzu occupies Delta, then I think they have a good chance to beat her. But if not, I think they're just gonna get licked into fights with each other, and then Delta's just gonna pick them off one by one.
It really depends on how hard do you think Delta carries? Like, do you think do you think the others can like support her enough to be able to just take out the entire other team, or do you think the others aren't gonna be doing that much and Delta isn't gonna be able to like fucking backpack them and carry them to the W? Yeah. It's like it's really what you think. This round is pretty contentious, and it's a lot more
important.
It's a lot more important. Yeah, it's a lot more important than last round because this is like the bulk of both teams, you know. So it kind of depends. I think it would be a good fight. I think it would last a while. Like, no one's just gonna solo and blitz immediately. So this one might last a while. Just like the other one, it might depend on like the top tiers, how the top tiers deal with each other.
Yeah. It also might depend on how the bottom tiers fare up against each other, because like if Konan and Hidan can just kill the two bottom Kara members and they join up the middle tiers, like if they go and support everybody against the middle tiers, I think that the numbers advantage might be just enough to sort of neg a lot of the Kara members at that point. Like 2 or 3 members could like stall Delta while the others take care of Boro, Victor, and Awa. But if Deepa comes in, I don't think he would make as much of a difference. Like, he could just distract Kakuzu or something like that.
Well, let me be clear. I don't think Hidan would be really surviving a fight with Deepa and Amado. Like, either way, Deepa and Amado might lose, but I don't think Amado's coming out of it alive. And I don't think Konan would be doing much against the upper members of Kara, but like just her being there to support them might make all the difference in the end. So it kind of does depend on the bottom tier as well, but this middle fight is a lot more important.
Yeah, I agree. So I think like overall I am sort of leaning toward Kara just because of Delta, but it's like gonna be like high diff, like 6 out of 10 times or something, or like 5.5 out of 10 times.
Yeah, they're like really you can make arguments for both sides is what we're saying here, but I'd say like if Delta's really that really that strong, and if her lasers are fucking light speed, and she has all these jets in her she has the jets in her boots, and she has like all these crazy android abilities. She's like immune to Sasori's poison, immune to Deidara's C4. Like, really, Delta might just bring home the W.
Yeah. So
I
then,
guess we can move on to the top tiers.
yeah, this is the main round, like the big boys fighting each other, and
This is what y'all been waiting for.
yeah,
This is prime time right here.
this is the
So
main event.
yeah, we
So
saved the best for last. It, I guess this one would you can justify it being like a 1v1. They're kind of like a split up, you know. So I think Kashin Koji would probably take Itachi in a 1v1. They would be like fighting each other for a while. Code would be a best fit for like someone like Obito, and of course you got to put Pain versus Jigen, like the leaders fighting up, you know.
yeah,
So it really depends on like who could win in these individual fights, so that they could help out the other top tiers, and then the top tiers can go help out like the mid to lower tiers as well. And honestly,
yeah,
I'm just looking at it right now. I'm like looking up the 3v3 right now. I'm thinking the Kara just takes it. They just kind of body the top tiers right here. Like Jigen probably just impales all of the Pain bodies. He might have like more time than that, but Shinra Tensei might not work because Jigen might just be able to shrink down or like trap a lot of the Pain bodies in another dimension, which we didn't talk about when going over Jigen. Like he
yeah,
could just
true.
like BFR. He could like BFR all of the Akatsuki members like if he wanted to.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's really wild. And Kashin Koji, he'd probably give Itachi a run for his money, especially in Sage mode when he's pulling out all these crazy techniques. The problem would be the Susanoo and the Tosuke blade, but if Code or Jigen can finish their opponents quickly, then they could just come over and absorb that shit real quick. Maybe Jigen could like shrink it from a distance. I feel like Kashin Koji, I don't know, because the Black Flames are going to be a problem. I don't think Kashin Koji has much to counter Amaterasu. Tsukuyomi as well would be a problem. Kashin Koji might have the common sense to not look into Uchiha in the eyes. But the Susanoo and the Tosuke Blade and the Yadomir are definitely going to be a problem here. So I don't know. It's kind of like, what do you think? Do you think Kashin Koji can like overcome that Susanoo barrier?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if I think Kashin Koji is like the worst matchup for Itachi here in terms of like how he fares against Itachi, because the other two could just absorb Susanoo and stuff like that. The Kashin Koji cannot. So I think his best.
Oh shit! Bro, imagine Kashin Koji goes up against Pain like for the rematch.
Oh
bro,
god,
that'd be wild.
Yo,
That'd be wild.
Okay, we have to talk about
stomps. Bro, he might stomp Pain, bro. He might like come back for the round 2, bro. He's like, bro, you killed me in my past life, but now I got perfect Sage mode. I got Android parts, bro. Like, bro, he might pack up Pain, like actually, and then like leave Code and Jigen to deal with Itachi, and they just kind of like fuck him pretty bad. But that'd be wild, dude. Like, imagine.
Yeah,
like,
that battle would be hype as hell. Like, this would be like the rematch of the century. But I do think that Pain probably takes it there because, like, this is going to be full power Pain, not the one that went up against, like, Naruto. This is going to be all 6 paths at full power. And, like, even if you say that in Sage mode, you know, Sage Naruto couldn't really be damaged by Pain, like, he says it himself. So, like, if you apply that same logic to Kashin Koji and say that Kashin Koji cannot be damaged by Pain physically because of Sage mode, he can just still wear Kashin Koji out with, like, Shinra Tensei's Bansho Tenin's. Pain was gonna be at full chakra reserves here. He's gonna have, like, all the jutsu, all the chakra reserves. Chibaku Tensei is actually a problem unless Kashin Koji, like, reverse summons himself out of it.
So how I'm feeling is like you said, Pain would get that. He would be at full power here. He wouldn't be fatigued like he was against Naruto. But at the same time, Kashin Koji is like he would be a better Sage than Naruto would be at that point. Like, he's able to maintain Sage mode throughout his fight with Jigen. So like he wouldn't ever like run out. And Sage Naruto going up against Pain kind of beat him pretty bad. Like, he was reacting to the Diva path. He took out most of the paths of Pain, and it's when his Sage mode ran out that he kind of got fucked up. So really, it's like it's like, do you think Jiraiya's being a better sage than Naruto could make up for Pain's like full power form now? It's really up to interpretation.
I think it's weird. I don't think it's as clear cut and dry, because Pain at full power would be able to do all sorts of combos too. The Diva path would be in the battle right away. So like the human path, like, you know, Bancho Tenin human path, Bancho Tenin Preta path, like Bancho Tenin into a bunch of missiles or laser beams from the Asura path, a bunch of animal summons, any blind spots are out of the picture immediately, you know, like Pain is just like at full power with all 6 Pains would be so overwhelming that even if he cannot directly, like, physically damage Kashin Koji, the Soul Rip is still there. He could absorb chakra with the Preta Path. And, you know, this time, if the Human Path is alive and the Preta Path is alive at the same time, and the Diva Path, then, you know, the Diva Path could pull Kashin Koji into the Preta Path. The Preta Path could, like, absorb his Sage Mode and then, like, keep him still, and then the Human Path could just, like, rip out his soul and stuff. So it's like it's gonna be a big fight. Like, I don't think one just no-diffs the other.
Yeah, like I said before, I'm thinking that Kashin Koji in his Sage Mode should be able to react to most of Pain's attacks. I don't know if he would just get speed blitzed by any one of the Pains. He would, like, if the Preta Pad tries to absorb the Sage Mode, the same shit's gonna happen. It's gonna turn into a fucking frog. Really, like, I feel like Kashin Koji would do much better than either Naruto or Jiraiya. So I think it would be like a pretty extended fight. I don't think anyone would like immediately win, like you said, but I'm still like edging towards Kashin Koji here, because like that perfect Sage Mode shit is no joke. Like, he has better Sage Mode than Sage Naruto would have had at that point in the series. So, like, I don't know, like, I could just see him like slamming a Rasengan into Pain. He can do Rasengans as Kashin Koji, right?
Yeah, he can.
Oh, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. The Preta Path can absorb Sage Chakra. It just did get overloaded when Naruto started, like, actually, like, just pumping Sage Chakra into himself, like, actively gathering it while he was just still in the Preta Path's clutches. So, like, if Kashin Koji tries to do that, he might just get, like, stabbed or, like, soul ripped by the other Pains while he's trying to overcharge the Preta Path. But I do think it's going to be a long fight, and I do think that the other fights would wrap up much quicker, and then, like, either Itachi or Obito would come out and help Pain defeat Kashin Koji, or Koda and Jigen would come and help Kashin Koji defeat Pain.
Honestly, it's exactly how you said. Like, really, Itachi going up against either Code or Jigen is a really, really poor mismatch. They can both absorb literally all of his techniques except for Tsukuyomi and, like, other genjutsu related stuff. But Jigen just might be, like, he just might be immune to those genjutsu, so he just might immediately, like, slap Itachi. Absorb all of the Amaterasu, shrink the Tosca blade, absorb the Susanoo, and then either just kill Itachi outright or just, like, BFR him. Like, even though it's equal stats, even though it's equal stats, I feel like Itachi would just get hard countered by everything Jigen has at this point in the series. And it'd be like similar with Code, but it wouldn't be as quick. You know, Code would still be able to absorb all of Itachi's stuff and then, like, place a claw mark on him and kill him. You know, so even Itachi's high intellect wouldn't be able to carry him through this fight, especially with Jigen, because Jigen is also smart. He's been around for thousands of years. He has all of this fucking Otsutsuki knowledge, right? So Itachi's not going to be, like, necessarily outsmarting him, especially because I feel like at that point in the series, I feel like adult Sasuke would likely be a better strategist than fucking Itachi would be at that point. And, like, fucking adult Sasuke's IQ wasn't able to carry him in his fight against Jigen. Really, that's all. That's how I'm feeling. I feel like Jigen and Code would probably be able to wipe Itachi pretty easily, to be honest, simply because they counter all of his shit.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, Itachi, just all his jutsu are chakra based. These guys absorb chakra, and, like, one of them is like an Otsutsuki god who should be immune to genjutsu, because Sasuke never tries genjutsu on any of the Otsutsuki. So I do think that he gets wiped. I think Obito is gonna be, like, the biggest chance against these two, because, like, Pain and Obito are better matchups against these two, because Pain has, like, many bodies that can take their attacks and, like, gauge their abilities and stuff like that. Like, he can just Like, imagine if Jigen just, like, comes at Pain and, like, Obito is watching from the side. He could figure out Jigen's ability while he dismantles the Pains one by one. And then, like, maybe him and Pain could, like, come up with a counter strategy to, like, Jigen or something. But then, you know, you have the other two, like Kashin Koji and Code coming in, like, then it's weird. I do think that Obito, like, would fare up against Code and Kashin Koji the best, because if he just lands a hand on them, that's it, they pretty much get sucked into Kamui. But the thing is, after they get sucked into Kamui, like, they can just attack Obito if he ever uses Kamui again. Like, that's another thing. I think Obito, if he lands a hand on either Code or Kashin Koji, it's pretty much instant GG into Kamui, because Minato had to, like, teleport out of it, like, mid-teleportation. Flying Raijin is, like, instant teleportation. And, like, that was the only thing saving Minato from getting instantly sucked into Kamui. And we see in the war that Kamui, like, people just get, like, absorbed really quickly into Kamui, like, multiple times. And I don't think that in an equal stats battle, Code or Kashin Koji could react to that well. Jigen might be able to shrink himself out of the way still. But the thing is, after they are in the Kamui dimension, they can just attack Obito's main body from there, like whenever he tries to use Kamui again. So I do think Obito is like a free kill, like on one of the characters. But then he also kind of gets killed by the character that he sucked into Kamui.
So, like, at the same time, I feel like if Obito tried to suck Jigen into Kamui, he'd just be able to shrink out of it.
Yeah, I do believe so.
Do you think Code could, like, place a claw mark in the Kamui dimension and then just, like, return to the normal dimension?
I honestly, yeah, he can travel. The thing is, if he doesn't have any claw marks on the outside, like on the battlefield, then he won't be able to. But if he does, then he will be able to.
I would think he would at that point.
Yeah, because we see, like, doesn't he, like, place claw marks all around the battlefield when he fights, like, Kawaki and Boruto?
Yeah, so he could probably just, like, return. Like,
yeah. Honestly, Kashin Koji is the only one susceptible.
Honestly. Like, yeah, but Kashin Koji might get caught off guard, but he has, like, Jiraiya's intellect without all of the weird perviness, so he might just, like, be able to watch Obito's shit and then just be like, I wonder what this juicy does.
Yeah. I do think that the Kara members take it most of the time. I think, like, it's either gonna come down to, like, Obito, like, taking care of, like, one of the guys and then the guy just comes back or kills him. Itachi's just gonna get negated by, like, everybody there except Kashin Koji, but, like, Koda and Jigen just hard counter him. And Pain is, like, the best bet to fight against Jigen because he can just last a while against him, but he can't really beat Jigen. Like, it's not, he doesn't have any win conditions. He can just be, like, a meat shield for the other two, for them to figure out what Jigen does, like, what his ability is. But he's gonna be taken out eventually. So I do think the top tiers of Kara just sort of wipe out the Akatsuki, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I feel like we said before, Kashin Koji would be able to last pretty well against Pain for a while, regardless of, like, if whether or not you think that Pain would be able to take the dub in the end. Obito is only a threat to Kashin Koji at this point. Jigen and Code would be able to, I guess, avoid his Kamui for the most part. But the trouble is, like, landing a hit on Obito, but of course, like, impaling a rod in him might do the trick. Getting a claw mark on him somehow might do it as well. And I feel like Kashin Koji and Jigen, if they're both still alive at this point, would probably be able to, like, deduce his Kamui ability.
Yeah.
After a while.
Yeah, I do think that Obito is gonna be, like, the one that lasts the longest after Pain.
Yeah.
But he's just not gonna have enough to beat them. I think, like, the best bet for the Akatsuki is if the middle tier wins and they join the battle, like, assist the top tiers, then I think that maybe they could do something. Because, like, let's say if Kashin Koji gets, like, preoccupied by, like, Sasori and Kakuzu at the same time or something, like, let's say those two survived until the end or something, then all three of the top tiers of the Akatsuki could just focus on Jigen and Code for a little while. So I do think that's, like, the best bet for the Akatsuki to maybe pull out a win. But at the same time, you could just say the Kara wins and, like, Delta comes rushing into the battle with, like, Boro up by her side or something. So
I'm gonna be real. Like in our like little tier listed fight here, this is probably not how the actual fight would go out. They wouldn't just like immediately like section off into their little groups or whatever.
yeah,
But in this form of the fight, I feel like regardless of who wins on the lower tiers, like someone's gonna die. Like either Amado is gonna die and Deepa just beats both of them, or Deepa like kind of beats up Hidan pretty bad, and only Konan's able to join the fight against the mid tiers. And disregarding that, like against the mid tiers in the 4v4, I don't think any team is coming out unscathed. Like someone's
for
going
sure.
to have to die here.
Yeah.
It really depends on like I don't really think anyone's coming out unscathed. Like no one's like the Akatsuki just aren't going to slam immediately. Kara isn't just gonna blitz immediately. Like really it's gonna come down to the wire here. And of course, like we already said before, like the top tiers likely Kara would probably just win, right? Itachi just gets hard countered. Obito doesn't have much against them, and Pain would just eventually just be worn down by Kashin Koji. And after Jigen or Code is done with their respective fights, then they just come over and slam the rest of the Pain bodies. So really, I feel like just because the top three members of Kara are like so hacked out, I feel like they would eventually be able to take the fight. At least in our little organized bracket here, it could go very different if it's like a true 9v9 where they're all just going out. Like Deidara is shooting off his massive bombs everywhere. Delta's coming around flying and like shooting laser beams at everyone. Sasori like just gasses everyone on some fucking like concentration camp shit.
Oh my god.
He sends out his poison across the entire battlefield. Like it could go like a very different way, but at least in our little organized bracket here, I feel like Kara would take it.
Yeah. I do feel like if we just went into like a full like 9v9, because that's why we did this like tier thing, because if we just went into that 9v9, so many things could happen. Like it's already confusing enough with just like 4v4 like in the middle tiers. Imagine 9v9, like who goes up against who goes down first, who gets off guarded by Boro's poison, who gets off guarded by the Totsuka blade or like the soul rip or something. And like it's so weird. I do think Kara would maybe have like a higher chance there, because like Code and Jigen could come in and neg a lot of the middle tier Akatsuki's jutsu. But at the same time, like Boro could just get Totsuka bladed, Delta could get like soul ripped or something, you know. Like it goes both ways. Regardless of the method that the battle takes place in, you know, like if it's the tiers or the 9v9, I do think Kara eventually would just take the win most of the time, like 7 or 8 times out of 10.
Yeah, the reason why I feel the same way, like Kara would win in a true 9v9, is because there's so many people on Kara's side that are really hard to put down, like Jigen, Code, Delta, and possibly Kashin Koji. Even Boro are really hard to like. It's going to be really hard to kill them, and I don't really feel the same way for anyone else on the Akatsuki except for like Obito. Like that's going to be the only person that Kara is going to have trouble taking down, and I feel like Pain, Itachi, Kisame, any of the more durable fighters would just eventually get kind of beat up. You know, so I feel like Kara would just kind of outlast the Akatsuki for the most part. They just have so many heavy hitting fighters. Like Delta could have been in the top tier, like unironically. Like we were like debating whether or not we should put her in the top tier and like swap Kashin Koji out, because they're just like both so strong. You know, so
we just kind of had to make it like a 3v3. I mean, I guess we could have put like Kisame in top tier too, and then like had like 4v4 in the top tier.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have made like that big of a difference, but like I said, I feel like Kara would win in our little bracket and most likely in a true 9v9, but it would be like a mid to high diff, especially in like a true 9v9.
Yes, I agree. So yeah, I would say that's probably it. The recording is like 10 hours long probably by now.
No, bro, like I actually thought this was gonna be like a cut and dry video. I was going in thinking like either Kara would just stomp or the Akatsuki would just stomp like immediately. But like after thinking about it here, like I'm actually like pulling my hair out, like deciding whether like who would actually win this here. And I'm just going with an educated guess and saying that that Kara would most likely win after all this evidence has been presented on the table. Like the Akatsuki's movesets are either just really outdated or they just wouldn't work. Like Kara just counters them. Like the Kara members are just so hacked out. Like Jigen and Code and Delta are just they're just wild. So
Yeah.
like let us know what you think. Of course, like could Kara actually beat the Akatsuki in an equal stats fight? Love to hear from y'all in the comments and all that stuff.
Yep. And yeah, glad to have you on here. Was a really fun recording to do. And definitely
Yeah.
make sure to check out Loco's channel again. He does some very cool Naruto content, and he has more coming on the way. He's about to hit 1,000 subscribers, so go show him some support.
Oh, appreciate that, man. Be sure to subscribe to my man Sasori, bro. Give him some love. And like that's pretty much it. I just had fun killing on the channel. Appreciate it.
And yeah, let us know what you think in the comments below about this matchup, about what other videos we should do, like collab video ideas. We're open to doing them.
Other than that, we're gonna catch y'all later. Peace.
See you next time. Goodbye. Have a nice day.